Yeah, I would be glad to stay on that if it's the will of the board.
There's the list if you want to see.
Oh, look at this, he's got it all down in writing.
Right. There was a printout from a couple of years ago, or last year.
All right. So, do I have a motion for NEMCOG?
I will move to put George on.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
CPC.
I've been on CPC, I can continue doing that, that's
It's fine by me.
I'm starting to figure it out.
I move that we appoint Edmund Rue for CPC representative.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Housing Advisory. Well, I guess it's not going to be Colleen anymore.
Well, I was the rep, and
Yeah.
I'd be glad to stay on.
Well, I'll nominate Monica.
I would second that.
Will accept.
All right, all's in favor of Monica?
Aye.
On the same note, North Village, you're on that one, right?
I am as
Good.
well.
You want to stay?
Can I nominate her for North Village too?
Go for it.
I would like to nominate
Second.
Monica for North Village.
And I will accept that.
All right, second.
All right. We get,
Voted?
We all have
All in
to say
favor?
aye, don't we?
Aye.
all right. Vinyl Square, which is on.
That's Monica.
Yeah, Monica.
Did it.
That is.
Zoning
North
bylaw
Village.
review,
No longer
no
active.
longer.
Right.
I think, do we got them all?
BPAC.
BPAC.
Who's on that now?
I was on it, but I would love to give some the opportunity to.
To do BPAC? All right, well, anybody want?
Nominate Glenn.
What is the
Bicycle, you know, that thing with two pedals,
Oh.
Yeah.
pedestrian access.
I
grid?
suppose I could probably do that.
Then I'll second it.
And I'll vote for it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I've been on Historical
Yeah,
Commission
Historical
liaison.
Commission liaison.
Yeah.
So
All,
Yeah.
I would like to discuss that, and what I'd like to discuss is that I think that my original thought on that was when we did that last year was that we were gonna come up with some way that look at our bylaw to determine if there's something in there that we can strengthen to help with the demolition bylaw or the historic nature of properties. And is that where we're going with this?
That's where we're going with it. We've had ongoing discussions with them on it.
do you have any idea of have there any balloons been floated yet, or is it just?
We've had a number of discussions on different things that could be done. Monica and I have been reviewing some things that Evan got us from other towns as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of getting to the point in time to start drafting some ideas together to put before the whole committee.
All right, I was just,
So are we better off forming a subcommittee to look at that and bring that back? And calling a liaison to the historic? I'm just trying to make sure that we progress forward. So,
Understand. Monica and I have been the subcommittee with, as I said, liaison to the Historical Commission. Do we need to add more people to that? Do
I'm
we
not
need
looking to have more people. I think formalizing even a committee of two, so that we have a goal in mind of what's happening, you know, instead of just talking about different buildings that are being torn down or what's happening, you know. I mean, like to see if there's something that we can do to help protect the properties that do have some sort of historical, I'm looking for the right
Value.
word.
Significance.
Significance.
Historical significance, then,
Significance.
yeah.
you know,
I mean-
otherwise, are we just, you know, I don't wanna just spin the wheels and, you know, if we're gonna do it, let's come up with something, you know?
Well, we definitely can move forward with using the information that we've
Yeah,
been
I mean, I
provided.
think we have enough information at this point to move forward and put some proposals together. And we can certainly set a time frame to do that.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think
Yeah.
it makes more sense. I mean, we love to hear what's going on in town, but it's not our, you know, we can only do so much about it unless we,
Yeah,
you know, more of
Yeah.
our thing is the putting the law together, I guess, would
Yeah.
be more or less the way to say it.
So, on that note, I would make a motion to form a committee of Monica and Nan to review the bylaw to see if there's a way we can strengthen it for the protection of historically significant properties. If that's my motion.
Got a form and a motion, I'll second that.
All's in
Good to
all in
me.
favor?
Right.
Aye.
Now it's formal.
Now it's formal. Congratulations. All right. Well, I guess we're done with committees. I don't think there's any other left to go.
No, I think that's all of them.
We never really voted you on taking and doing the, did we vote on you taking over?
129?
no,
129?
No, you didn't. You want to?
Then we might as well make it official.
Somebody's got to move it.
I'll move that Mike continues on as the planning board liaison to the Route 129 amenity zoning review and study.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
I guess that's done with the congratulations now.
All right. Now, we got to do some work.
All right. Administrative reviews. Mr. L, you're up. And for the record, tell us everybody who you are and
Good evening, Emil Hool, here for Alyssa Way. Looking to get, request lot releases for the balance of the homes that are up for sale.
do we have anything in the,
There's nothing in the file, Evan, is there?
So if you recall, there's a bond in place. I think it's $140,000, which covers the expenses as estimated by Town Engineering Division for the remainder of the work within the public way. 2 lots were previously recorded when the bond was established. And the request tonight is to release the remaining lots. That would allow the developer to sell the lots. Some of the lots are built, some are occupied, some are sold. So, like I said, the bond's in place, and that's really all that I think the planning board needs to guarantee completion of the subdivision.
all right,
Need a motion.
any discussions?
Got any comments from no, you said your piece, Evan. Any comments from engineering?
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay. Is the street done pretty well?
Binder and utilities are in. The major structure is completed.
And we got the money in the bank. We got the-
Yep.
Okay.
Monica, you have any comments?
No, if that's all we need.
Glenn,
Nope.
you all done, Ed? Nancy?
I'm fine.
I'm good.
All
A
right.
motion?
Sure.
Give you a motion for planning board number 2014-01 for approval of the lot releases of lot 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Do I have a second? A second? All those in favor?
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations on the new positions.
Yep.
All right, next one up is 7 Progress Ave.
We have some letters.
Need some letters?
Hello.
First one's from engineering, no concerns. Community development, no concerns. Building Department, no concerns with an asterisk, will address changes at building permit application. Fire Department, see letter. Fire Department, Planning Board file 2015-14. Members of the Planning Board, this office has reviewed the proposal of the minor modification of the site plan previously approved. Fire prevention finds the following. The drive-through bay is considered a parking structure for purposes of fire code application. The drive-through shall be designed and built according to NFPA 88A, Standard for Parking Structures, 2011, as proposed in the letter dated March 31, 2016 by Acorn Consulting Engineers, copy attached. Sprinkler system shall comply with NFPA 13, shall be designed to reflect any changes in hazard from the original plans. In addition, automatic gates on premises shall be fitted with a Knox key switch, key to the Chelmsford Fire Department specifications. A knock box shall be installed in the area of the main entry to the building. This office would approve the modification as proposed, in addition to the original fire prevention requirements as stated in the fire prevention letter, Chelmsford Planning Board dated October 5th, 2015, Daniel Katusis. And there's a letter from Acorn Engineering that is attached, and that's it for the letters, Mr. Chairman.
We're up.
Good evening, Mike Fabiano with High Point Engineering, civil engineers, record civil engineers for the project representing NSD Real Estate. So thank you for reading the letters into records. This request is for minor modification to the approved site plan through the COA and special permit process. We've had some conversations with Mr. Belansky over the last month or so. We submitted paperwork through engineering with Christina and also with Chief Ryan and Captain Kasofis, I think is his last name, representing the interior request for the drive aisle. So just some brief history over the last, the project was approved back in November of last year. Since that time, we've worked with the developer to come up with an alternative arrangement for the interior layout of the building. The site plan that you see in front of you, which is labeled with some numbers, there's an interior driveway that's now proposed through the building to provide better access to the building, to the storage lockers, so that when someone enters the premises, comes through the security gate, they drive up to the door that's located near location 1A. On the site plan, the door opens up. It's a 14 to 15 foot wide door, 14 foot high. They drive into the premises. The drive lane inside the building is about 30 foot wide. It will go through this side of the building here, labeled 1A, and exit near 1B. It's 30 foot wide straight through, and it provides shelter and, for a better purpose, ease of access to lockers. So instead of parking on the outside of the building, the cars come through and park on the inside of the building, exit, go through either on the first floor, second floor, third floor, access through stairways or elevators to access the lockers. This has been done in a number of different facilities in the area. We pointed to a facility in Burlington and some others that have had it. I have a picture that kind of gives the board a sense of what the interior will look like. This is an interior picture of a facility. You know, it's kind of self-explanatory what the inside may look like. I think it's a great amenity to this type of setup. And for the amount of traffic that comes through the facility, this has worked out in the past to be totally effective from the width and the interior access, and I think it will prove to make the facility run a little bit smoother and provide a little more amenity to the patrons that go there. So as a part of installing an interior driveway, that obviously takes away some footprint to the building. So speaking to Evan, I believe Ms. Belansky spoke to the building inspector. We are now adding in, it's about 7,600 square feet that was proposed during the submission, or it's going to be an equal exchange. The amount of square footage that the interior driveway takes up on the finished floor is being supplemented or being repeated to a mezzanine level that's in between floor 1 and floor 2. So overall, the overall GFA, or the overall FAR does not change at 0.67, but it's the mezzanine equals the amount of the interior driveway or aisle space, which is approximately 7,600 square feet. As a as a function of putting in the driveway and having a garage door on each side for access, there was a little bit of changing around with the site plan. So at point 1A on the plan, you can see there's a striped out area for entrance where there's a landscape island to the left and a landscape island to the right. There's a little bit of grade change that we worked through engineering to show the grade change from the higher area down about 3.5 feet to the lower area. That's shown in the two green areas near 1A. There was a transformer that was located in that corner of the building existing. That transformer is being relocated either with a new transformer or using the existing over to location number 4. So that was a site plan change. The point number 3 on the plan, there was 2 dumpsters that were located outside of the security gate prior. 2 dumpsters changed into 1 dumpster that's located now back in the back left-hand corner of the premises, the pink area located by point number 2. And then we changed the area, point number 3 on the plan to landscaping instead of leaving it as asphalt to add a little bit more pervious area into the program. And then overall, the storage locker count changed by approximately 15 or so spaces, lockers, where now there's 829 spaces proposed. It still fits within the parking arrangement, so the parking doesn't change as far as required parking spaces per zoning. And more or less everything else on the site plan has remained the same. So overall, the context of the plan is still the same. By implementing this driveway coming through the building, we had to do some minor modifications on the outside of the building to accommodate the change. And that's more or less the request.
Here it is.
I'll have one question for you before I stop passing around. Do you have any plans showing the outside pictures, what it's going to look like?
We do. Have, at the time of submission, the architectural elevations were not available. So from an elevation standpoint, this is the front of the building with the large trucks back up to. Number 1A to the right, this is the right-hand side of the building. This is where the office or the area would be for an entrance. But these doors where the lockers were before are still the case. They've just been kind of rearranged in a slightly different configuration. The main access door for the interior driveway is located here. Be protected by bollards. It's a door that's approximately 14 foot high, 14.5 foot wide, opens automatically upon arrival when a car pulls up into this area in the front of the door. And then as the car goes through and into the building, it goes around a corner and out the other side. This is the left-hand side of the building located here where we striped off an area to kind of add some visual protection, as well as there's a man door and some bollard protection to the left and the right of the door. But this is a similar door, same thing, 14.5 foot wide, 14 foot high. The architecture is still the same. The color scheme, the shadow boxing, the brick piers, the facade treatments, the height, more or less is substantially the same as before, but by way of moving some of the doors around and adding this feature in, things just need to be shifted a little bit. But texture, context, color, facade, the whole scheme of the building is more or less the same. That's modified based on having the door arrangements on the bottom. So this is the main side that you would see from Route 129 through the trees, or as you pass Progress Ave, looking down the corner. And then as you look down the left-hand side of the building, that would be this edge. And then off the rear of the building, look to the low connector. You have metal paneling on the top and a brick course or block on the bottom. And looking on the sides towards the wetlands, same feature. It's about 9 or 10 feet of block on the bottom with metal paneling on the side. So we took that block treatment and wrapped it all the way around the building compared to having only metal panel. The footprint of the building has not changed at all. It's still the same as it was before, approximately, I think it's around 41,000 square feet of footprint. It's just a little interior architectural logistics that happened that ended up modifying part of the site plan as well, as I discussed.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
At this time, I'll open the questions up to the board. We'll start with you, Nancy.
No questions.
I'm going to presume the building code covers any safety and ventilation issues regarding having vehicles in the interior of the
Correct.
building? Okay, so,
That's why we, if I can interject, that was the reason why we reached out specifically, proactively with the fire department to make
Right.
sure there wasn't any concerns and that it's meeting NFPA code. And, you know, just like they mentioned in the letter, it really gets treated like an interior parking structure.
okay, good, then I'm happy.
I'm good.
Monica?
I do have a question. You say when the vehicle pulls up, it opens automatically. Is there any type of, I'm just curious how this works. Is there any type of warning system so anyone that's inside filling their locker kind of knows that to expect a vehicle to be driving through? Like how does it work?
There's a security gate on the outside. So as cars enter the premises, the first point of access is through a security gate here
Right.
and here. If a car enters through this area, it's only because there's lockers that are arranged to the left and right of the door opening. But there's audio and visual alarms that will, you know, as far as pedestrian safety, but the lockers are arranged in a way in the side where most of the lockers you have to go down into an aisle to get to a locker, and there's a few lockers there on the side. But with the 30-foot width, usually what happens is there's a car that's parked adjacent to the locker, there's a 5-foot space that's available in between the car and the locker, and, you know, any other car that's coming through is navigating around that vehicle compared to people walking back and forth. But right around the door entry, as people come in, the lockers that would be available on the side are interior. There's no lockers that are exactly adjacent to the front door.
Okay.
But there's security at this location. And then as there's probably a keypad security, card that you either punch a code or swipe a card where this gate opens up. And then either there's going to be a secondary, haven't figured it out yet, whether or not there's going to be a second level of security here, or that once you pass this security gate, there'd be detectors within the pavement so that when you pull up, just like when you go to get your car service at the car dealership, when you pull up to a certain part, the door automatically opens. It could go that way, or it could be another swipe card at that point to enter.
Okay, and then when they make their exit, how does that exactly work? Does it open automatically as well?
Yeah, that's definitely when you pull up to this side, that you do not have to swipe a card because you're inside the facility, and that there would be detectors within the concrete inside the building that would either be motion sensors from the side for the vehicle or directly in the pavement that this door is going to open up automatically for the cars that are exiting. And then, from the standpoint of vehicular traffic and safety, the only people that are over here are people parked going to their locker, where I think there's maybe there's 8 lockers. So if there's 1 or 2 people, it's unlikely that there's people aren't coming back and forth this way. It's only people that are coming. It's almost like a dead-end subdivision where the only people that are going to go there are the ones that have the lockers. And most of the traffic is going to be people leaving and then leaving, and if there happens to be a car, they're going to be parked directly in front of the locker.
fine.
That's fine. You said there's just about eight external.
Correct. Yeah, there's 5 to the left and 3 to the right.
Okay. That's it.
Glenn?
I'm good.
Just go over it slowly. Again, you said you're picking up space. How are you doing that in the building without adding height? You said you were adding space on a mezzanine.
A mezzanine, so because the
Take
first.
the building thing and point it out to me, please. The facade, and point it out. What are you gonna do?
So, let's look at a floor plan. Well, you can kind of tell. So the first floor compared to the second floor and the third floor, the first floor has a higher roof level. Because of the higher access doors being at 14 feet, and then once you come in and the doors roll up, you have so many feet above that door. So there's extra room on the first floor that you, by code, you can put in a mezzanine level that's in between the first floor and the second floor. So you have 1.5 floors, where it's basically, you're allowed up to code to 33% of the first floor to add a mezzanine.
Where this mezzanine is this along the driveway in the building?
No,
or
the
is this?
mezzanine will be located in the back right-hand corner of the, so this area back here is the mezzanine space. So this rectangle where you have an elevator and stairwell, that this is the back addition, that back kind of rectangle, that's an addition off the building. That's
Yeah.
this area back here, so this area back here is the mezzanine.
Right, so you're sliding, you're not changing the building height, you're
Correct.
just sliding something in there.
Correct. It's an intermediate level that is in between the first floor and the second floor.
And before you were just gonna have a real tall.
Correct. It'd be a lot of wasted space in between the bottom deck and the second floor. And it's really by virtue of, once you put in the driveway, you lose all that space for storage, and by building codes allowing, we spoke to Ms. Mulaski about allowing from an FAR standpoint, that you're doing a swap for the driveway, which is not usable space for the storage activity, that we do a swap out and you keep the FAR the same.
Yeah, you're just defining FAR different, that's all. Okay, I'm all set.
Oh, I'm set too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Seeing how this is a public hearing, though.
No,
No, it's
Nope.
not?
It's not.
Not?
It's minor.
Minor.
we move to a vote.
We move to a vote.
Well, I would then move that we grant the minor modification as presented.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Appreciate your time.
Oh, we're moving right along.
And congratulations on all your appointments. And all your committees.
Musical chairs.
That's right.
All right, well, new public hearings, none. New business.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.
I guess we have an opening and alternate seat now.
Wonder how that happened.
Someone resigned.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody ran for it, to be honest with
You
you.
can't,
You
Oh, you
can't,
couldn't.
it
I was
wasn't
still-
open.
he was still
I was still
alternate.
on it.
Oh, okay, so you did, all right.
So,
So I can tell you what's happened in the past is it's been something that, I think we have to send a letter to the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
And, then what happens is they advertise for the position, and it's a joint appointment between the planning board and the selectmen. So, where it's a full year, I would say it's worth definitely filling.
Now's the time to do it.
I think hopefully generate some interest, for someone.
I think we do have a little bit of interest out there, so yeah, I think would be.
Okay,
So,
so we
it
can,
falls to you, Evan.
we'll proceed with putting out the notification.
ZBA reviews, 245 Chelmsford Street. Jean Dar.
That's Jen Dack. So,
Read the thing.
245 Chelmsford Street, Jean Dar Credit Union, for a variance under section 195/32A1 to install 3 wall signs in existing, in excess of what is allowable by right.
So, Mr. Chairman, in the application, it says extent of variance request. Attached signs, one sign may be attached to any one wall of building not to exceed area equivalent of 15% of the front wall, said building, or 60 square feet, whichever is greater. Allowable sign area may be divided between 2 signs, each sign be attached to a different wall of the building, and a total allowable area shall not exceed the equivalent of 20% of the front wall area of said building, or 80 square feet, whichever is smaller. We're requesting a variance for 3 different signs on 3 different sides of the building. Each sign will have a square footage of 65.78 for total square footage of 197.34. So,
George, what was their allotted area based on their front?
the allowable sign area divided by 2 signs, each sign be attached to a different wall of the building. Total allowable sign area shall not exceed an area 20% the front wall of said building, or 80 square feet. So it's 80 square feet.
So this is more than twice as large as, is it,
60
is
point.
What are they looking for, 114
hundred and 97
190.
compared to
97.3.
80.
If you look at the
Seems
picture,
like a lot.
It's allowable sign area divided by 2 signs. Okay, so they're looking for 3, but you have to see this, you have to see the drawings of the signs, and I think it's
Which 3 sides are they putting the signs on?
front and the 2 ends.
Hmm.
So,
yeah, they've got,
I think you should see them, and we can pass it around, and you wanna pass it around, sat down there and pass it around.
Oh, peak, yeah.
So,
They're not obnoxious.
The other thing I would note is, while the nominal square footage of the sign is as described, in fact, it's 2 smaller pieces being applied to the side. Doesn't actually occupy, it's not a 60-foot rectangle.
Okay, I see what
Take a
you're
look, take a look at the.
more like block lettering.
Yeah,
looks
it's more like block lettering.
saying. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's in the peaks.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Yep.
So, I don't have a concern.
I have none.
No concern.
The only question I'd have is I don't have a concern, but how does it relate to all the other signage a little bit down the road? Have we allowed that much extra down the road? I mean, it stopped, I guess we have.
Can I
guess we have.
ask a question of Evan? When you talk about the square footage of a sign, they seem to be assuming that it has to be a rectangular chunk and that's how you judge it. You could describe that thing as a triangle and it'd be a lot smaller.
Yeah, no,
What are the rules?
the building inspector, in this case, would only, the logo and the letters, the square around the letters, and then the volume of the logo.
Okay.
So you're not gonna draw a triangle or a square around the entire
Oh,
area.
okay.
So only that area that's actually occupied by the letters and the logo
For the
adds up
for
to
the letters, you square it off.
197?
That, I'm not sure. They may have overestimated.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like that may be a little, the number doesn't quite jive with that
Yeah.
description.
Can I see it again when you have a chance?
yeah. There's also lighting here too to take a look at on that.
I just wanna look at one thing, man,
Yeah,
I'll be
go
right back
ahead.
to you. On the wording.
Yeah, in terms of size, 'cause I know maybe, 2 months ago, we looked at another business down
Mhm.
in terms of the size that they were looking for.
In
How
Party
does,
City.
yeah,
Yeah.
how does that compare? in
Party
terms of-
City's huge.
Yeah.
That like takes up an entire window.
Yeah,
They gave it to them.
They gave it to him.
They gave it
They-
to 'em?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But then the windows got blacked out.
Yeah,
The windows in Party City are blacked out.
they were. Now they
Oh,
got,
they're
now
not?
they
Now
got
they're-
pictures of
Now
them.
they're filled with,
Oh, last time I
Signs.
was there, they were blacked out. Okay.
That was part of their automated.
Is there a drawing in there that shows you how wide that peak is?
Dimensions on there.
How wide the.
Yeah, let me just show it, and then I'll pass it right back to you. I think that, when you look at it, the backing of the sign is the same color as the rest of the peak. So it's really not, like Mike
Yeah.
had said earlier, it's not like a box.
Yeah, they're going after the letters.
Not a lighted box.
yeah, this 193 is literally only the
the lettering and the logo, because if you take the rectangle,
Yeah.
it's much, much bigger than that.
Wait a minute, this would be 73 by 129 to be 11 by
And there's 3 of those.
50. No, this is,
Go right on that.
okay, this would be 129, call it 10 and a half feet by 73, which is 6
zero.
feet. So that
That's
that
60
whole
square feet.
rectangle is 60 square
Well,
feet,
it
but
does-
if you,
It does say here.
but if you took the pieces separately,
Is that,
that
it would actually be a good bit
inches?
smaller. That's
That-
inches, yeah.
Oh,
each sign will have a square footage of 65.78 for total
Right.
square footage
That's,
of,
that's if you take it as a
Okay.
rectangle.
all right.
that's basically this whole rectangle.
I think they probably could have avoided this by describing the sign differently,
Yeah, okay.
or describing it as two small signs.
For me, the only thing I would say is, I don't think I have a concern of it because of the way it's shaped and that type of thing. The only one is, the one on the, as you're facing the building, one to the right, is, if it is lit, that it does not cause light spillage to the abutting properties.
Looks like it's a light that hangs out in the front of it and shoots onto it.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
then I have no concerns.
If you look at the plan on the next page, there's lights that come down and shoot back at it.
Each one of them peaks is about 200 square feet.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
took the whole area.
Yeah.
They could have drawn
That's
a
not,
box.
that's not gonna be that
Can I take a
big.
peek at that?
Yep. That's not gonna be that bad.
All right,
I make a
We'll give 'em-
motion for no concerns.
No concerns.
No concerns.
everybody on board?
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, fine.
I think it actually
All
looks
right.
kinda nice, to be honest
Grab
with
that
you.
back for the file. Thank you. As clerk, I gotta keep it in order.
All right. 7 Lardale Road, Donald Whitten is seeking a variance under 195-9, conformity A to construct a 28 by 28 garage that will encroach on the side setback.
So,
See it from here.
so, I don't know if you wanna come around or whatnot. but
I can see it from here already.
Basically, what you got is, this is the new proposed garage, which is 28 by 28. And I'm looking to see what they say for side
8
setback.
feet.
He's packing that pretty
Ooh,
close.
That's awfully close.
Yeah.
it's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much space does he have on the other side of the house? What's that?
24 plus or minus,
So he could drive something there.
Yeah, there's,
Concerns about side setback?
yeah.
Side setback is a concern,
Yeah,
period.
he could relocate it. He could get rid of
Yeah,
the
you
shed.
can push it back.
in the
He's
lot a little bit,
He's
move
got
that
four,
little
he's
shed.
got 4 feet here, he
Yeah.
can push it back, you know.
You
He
can
could
push
get
it
rid of
behind the
shed,
house.
Push the
Push
garage
it back a
back.
little
the
and
shed
square it
out.
with the house, and it'd take up like half the room.
Yeah, so I think we're good with that. That's it. Nice, easy ones for me this time.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, other.
I do have one note here. I don't know if the rest of the planning board got this. There's been some exchange with Ms. Bowman,
Yeah, I saw that.
and we have a letter, which I will turn over to the chair at this point.
I've got the same letter too.
You got
I've
this-
re-
oh, we've all got the
I've
same
already
letter.
read it, yeah.
You know, and it has to do with legal arguments surrounding the opinion of town council. I'm not sure there's much that we can do with it or about it, but I just note it. I have still not written any kind of response to Ms. Bowman. She seems to have gotten a pretty good response from the,
Should also be noted that that letter was mailed to us, but it was addressed to, I think, John Edwards and the Housing.
yeah, right, this is really a copy,
So,
So he needs,
just informational. All right, so that's all I had to say about it.
Nobody else is gonna have any comments on it? Old business. Why do they have 129? They talk about you, Mike, as old business.
Well,
Sorry, couldn't pass it up.
I
It's just
know,
too
I
easy.
It was there for the
too
taking.
easy. Evan and I did attend a meeting with several of the interested parties. And the status at this point is that the assessor's office is going to get some information for us, some statistics based on, the lots that are part of this area, the values, presumed rental values, several factors. And I haven't seen that yet. I presume it's coming any day.
Correct.
And do you have any more comments on that?
What I will say is, just, we talked about this at the last meeting. At this point, I've convened the 5 chairs, Planning Board, FinCom, Board of Selectmen, EDC, and assessors. So at that first meeting, FinCom was not in attendance and Board of Selectmen was not in attendance. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to send another email out to the 5 chairs, asking them to reconvene. The strategy at this point is to get the 5 chairs to exchange ideas and talk about what strategies, goals, and objectives may be in common, to write those up, and then the chairs will report back to the full boards, and at sometime in the near future, we'll convene multiple boards together so that the chairs can present whatever consensus they've come up with. Nothing to do with zoning strategy. We're not talking about looking at a map at this point, but to talk about what are the themes, what are the motivations, what are the goals, what are the objectives. Once there's a conceptual consensus on those, well, then we can start talking about the zoning strategy. What appears to be going on right now, and I get reported back that there's a lot of chatter in the community, and unfortunately that chatter is all about what's the zoning, what properties are going to be included. Well, on one hand, depending on who you talk to, there's different motivating factors, and depending on the motivating factors would directly influence the scope and scale of the zoning proposal. So from my perspective, we need to get the policymakers, at this point it's the chairs, to figure out, is there anything in common that we can agree upon as far as strategy and scope and scale of an article. And then, assuming we could find consensus with that, hopefully that results in a easier zoning process, because we're all working towards the same outcome, so to speak. Just to remind everybody, at this point, there's no board who's taken a vote on this. There's been no official board or committee discussion at this point. The planning board included. We put this on the agenda just to provide the board the update, and there's been no community forum to discuss this. So no decisions have been made. There's no draft map. There's no draft zoning. Nobody is considering any draft proposals at this point, which I think is important for the community to note, because again, there seems to be a lot of discussion that things have already been decided. So my expectation would be that the chairs would meet at least once or twice more, and hopefully before we get into the summer, we'll be able to convene multiple boards to set the stage for a summer zoning workshops, so that come late August, September, we'd be prepared for public hearings and fall town meeting.
Thank you. New business, I think there was another couple little things.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, I know we've talked kind of in the past about some boards now use iPads, so we don't have a whole bunch of plans sitting in front of us. Typically, iPads are left at town hall, but used at the table. And I just wasn't sure what the feeling of the board is, and if we can talk to town manager through community development to see if that's an option for this board to review. I think it just gives us an opportunity to use modern-day implements instead of old school. I mean, there's nothing wrong with old school. It's nice to be having plans in front of you, but when we get those big plans and you're trying to flip them around on the table, it becomes a little bit cumbersome. So maybe, we'll still get the small plans, but I think having an iPad, sit here and look at it, I think it might make life a little easier for us. And I just wanted to throw that out for thinking and discussion maybe, and, if anyone's old school, I'm kind of old school, but, when I was chair, I had used a little bit of electronics back to help me organize as far as keeping track of the plans, and it seemed to help. But, so I'm just throwing that out for thought and to see what the board thought about that. So,
Well, I'm 100% with it, with that. I think that's a great idea.
Nancy?
I'm pretty attached to my small plans.
Yeah.
But the fact is, the big ones are just so cumbersome that I'd rather not burn the trees.
Right.
And I like the idea of being able to zoom in on an iPad to see details that I can't see on a small sheet. I wouldn't want to go only iPad. I really do rely on my small sheets to make notes on.
Well, I think you have to have them
So-
because when they mail out the packets,
Yeah.
you have to have those small plans so that way you can do your homework.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but when you start getting into the big
But-
plans,
but
it's
the-
really cumbersome here.
I
But
can-
again, like you said, we can zoom in on it on the iPad and
Yeah.
that type of thing.
I'd love to replace the big ones with an iPad.
Monica?
Any embracing of new technologies, I'm fine with. I think it would be, personally, I find it just, I'm used to it, so it's.
Just because you're much younger than us.
Yeah. I need to make notes to myself as we're
You can-
going
on
through.
those small plans, I
Because
do
I
the same.
forget them, you know.
Are we allowed to have iPads as far as, I thought there was some stipulation.
Yeah.
where they-
We're allowed, but if we have our own, then they become
Oh.
subject to discovery, which is
Okay.
why
Okay.
having having ones that
Belong to
stay
the
at town hall
Yep.
and are limited in their content is wiser.
So all that would be on it would be just
Planning
what's
board
would
materials.
put on it
I
for
mean,
that meeting.
no reason you can't put, you can put all the bylaws on there so you can look things up on
Reference
them
them.
as well. There's a lot of stuff you could put on there that'd be really useful.
Or maybe throw some Google Earth on there so you could go
Yeah.
look at the project and zoom right in.
Maybe some access.
You gotta watch out what he said, though.
Yeah.
Gets into discovery if you start getting
Getting too
in
far out.
legal
Yeah.
discovery, it gets
Yep.
into,
I mean, if all you ever do is read it, you don't write on it,
Yep.
you're okay.
that's the thing.
That's basically the rule of thumb you want to keep.
Ed?
I'd go for it, but I'd still like to see the small plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big plans, I use them maybe 5% of the time.
Yeah.
But if we ever go in this direction, then we're gonna have to sit down and look at our submission requirements. Those are actually all written and they're there. Our submission requirements for site plan review and everything, and those are gonna have to be changed and voted on too. Because you don't want the developers submitting 8 sets of large plans when
They
we're
can
just gonna throw them in the wastebasket.
Yeah.
Now, how does that work on like a homeowner just bringing in a plan that, you know what
I
I mean?
think
They
they
wouldn't
can-
have the
Pull out
access
the
to.
cell phone, take a picture of it.
Well, I think what still happens, even with you doing like, a lot of towns go into all online permitting.
Yep.
The legal answer the state has given us is that if the towns still, whether they like it or not, have to accept the paper one.
Okay.
So they haven't said that, we strongly encourage online permitting, and it's a great thing, let me tell you. But absolutely. And you were looking for a comment?
I am. I know you didn't ask engineering.
That's
However,
engineering.
however, I will still need a full set of paper plans because I do take a scale
Yep.
and, I measure things off and I draw on them and I present them to the design engineers, and that's how we come up with, you know, our revisions.
So you'd
I would
still have to
need
get one.
To get a paper set, yeah.
Yeah, I think what the thing we would do is we'd ask Evan to consult with you and figure out if there is some way that we can reduce what they submit, but yet have enough paperwork for our records and files, because space is also an issue when you store these things. I can only imagine where it's all stored down but.
Evan's office can't get much smaller down there. We're running out of space.
Won't be put in my office, that's for sure.
And Evan, you're good with this?
Yeah, I think it's long overdue. You know, certainly with the iPads and maybe starting to use the overheads, so that simultaneously, while the board is looking at their iPads, it can be on the main screen and the side computer here. That may assist telemedia with getting a clearer picture for the public. I've mentioned to you in the past, I'm in the process of moving planning board to online permitting.
Yeah.
Primarily because it's predominantly professionals, attorneys, and engineers, not homeowners. And that would reduce the paper, at least internally. Departments like engineering and fire prevention would continue to get large-scale plans, but myself, conservation, Board of Health, they could probably view it on a larger computer screen, so it reduces paper internally. And then if we can reduce the planning board copies, continue to get you 11 by 17s, I think it just reduces significant paper. So I'm all for that.
I know it's hard to make a change, but I know once you get used to it.
Yeah, this offer, I think this originally started through the town manager's office, offering this to the Board of Selectmen. And I think they, for whatever reason, they, as a board, they declined. The town manager's office had inquired some time ago whether the planning board would be interested. So this is great news. I'll report back to the town manager. My understanding is the iPads will be bought. They'll remain here. They'll be used for other boards and committees that want to use them. And I think it's rather than being downloaded, I think it's going to all be via the cloud. You'll log in.
Excellent, excellent.
So we'll figure it out.
Great.
I'll report back.
We move into the 21st century. I hope.
I think we're out of things to talk about.
I have one fun thing,
Yeah,
one fun announcement. So the North Village Implementation Committee is having their first paint party fundraiser on May the 4th. So we would like everyone to come. We're working with Marcus and Leslie Lewis of Art Detox, and we will be painting, or at least trying to paint, a portrait of the North Town Hall, where we will be having the event. So again, that's on May 4th from 7 to 9 p.m., and tickets can be purchased for $35 at artdetox.com.
Very good.
So please, everyone come.
There is one other event coming up tomorrow, too, which is Camp Balls at Princeton.
Okay.
Strongly suggest anybody, if they would want to go. It goes for a good cause. It goes for the kids.
Would the chair entertain a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I'd look for a second.
You got it.
All in favor?
Aye. Where are we going?